According to YouTube analytics, 98% of viewers are not subscribed. That's a huge number. By subscribing the channel that is completely free, the Academy's threat detection system just classified a first-year human student as a Class X extinction event, and she was currently asking where the cafeteria is. Headmaster Zillax's ceremonial speech died mid-syllable as every alarm in the Stellar Academy's command center erupted simultaneously. The holographic display above the orientation hall blazed crimson, and the words, "Cosmic Threat Level Extinction Class," pulsed with an urgency that made his primary heart skip. "Impossible," he breathed, his mandibles clicking in distress. "The system hasn't activated at this level since the Void Wars." Security Chief Kael'thas materialized beside him, his scales shifting through colors that indicated severe stress. "Sir, you need to see this. The readings are coming from—" He paused, his secondary eyes widening impossibly. "They're coming from the human student. The new one. Olivia Smith." Zillax's gaze snapped to the orientation crowd below. There, standing patiently near the registration desk with a small travel bag, was possibly the most unassuming being he'd ever seen. Small frame, soft features, utterly calm expression. She was reading a campus map pamphlet while approximately 3,000 detection systems screamed that she could end civilizations with a thought. "How is she not vaporizing the planet just by existing?" Zillax whispered. The numbers scrolling across his neural interface made no sense. Power output, beyond measurable scale. Dimensional displacement, yes. Probability field manipulation, active. Causal violation index, error, error, error. "Sir, the containment fields," Kael'thas's voice cracked. "They're bending around her like she's not even there. Not breaking, bending, as if reality itself is choosing to accommodate her instead of the other way around." Down in the hall, Olivia Smith looked up from her pamphlet and waved cheerfully at a passing student, who immediately fainted. 3 backup generators kicked in to compensate for the power fluctuation her simple gesture had caused. "Emergency Council Zhao, now!" Zillax barked into his comm. "Code absolute. I repeat, code absolute." Within seconds, holographic projections of the 12 High Council members shimmered into existence around him. Chancellor Vexia, the Council's senior member, took one look at the threat assessment, and her chromatophores went pale. "That reading cannot be correct," she stated flatly. "Nothing alive produces those numbers." "It's verified across all systems," Kael'thas replied, pulling up confirmation after confirmation. "Biometric, quantum, psionic, dimensional, every scanner we have is independently confirming the same thing. That human student down there is emitting more exploitable energy than our sun. She's warping space-time just by standing still. The dimensional stabilizers are compensating every 3 seconds to prevent localized reality collapse." "And she doesn't know?" Council member Jotaro's translator crackled with his disbelief. "Sir, she filled out her orientation forms in the low-power species category," Kael'thas said, pulling up the file. "Under special accommodations needed, she wrote, none, but is there vegetarian food?" Zillax would have laughed if he wasn't currently watching his Academy's most advanced defense systems reroute all available power to simply exist in the same space as this oblivious human. "Evacuation protocols," Vexia asked. "Already initiated under the guise of a surprise drill," Kael'thas confirmed. "We're moving all students to the secondary campus." Discreetly. Below, Olivia noticed the sudden exodus of alien students around her. She tilted her head, confused, as approximately 400 species worth of younglings speed walked toward the exits with barely concealed panic. She approached a nearby staff member who visibly fought the urge to run and smiled. "Hi, excuse me? Is this about the paperwork? I thought I filed everything correctly. The admission portal was a little confusing with the quantum encryption, so I just sort of simplified the interface. I hope that's okay?" The staff member, a veteran administrator who'd survived 2 galactic wars, looked at her with the expression of someone watching a supernova form at close range. You simplified the quantum encryption? Yeah, it seemed overly complicated. I just streamlined it to be more intuitive, made it respond to intention rather than calculation, figured that would help other students too. Olivia's smile was so genuinely helpful that the administrator felt his survival instincts and his sense of politeness go to war. That's a 12-dimensional security system, he managed weakly. Oh, is 12 a lot for you guys? Olivia looked concerned. Sorry, I thought it was like basic level. Should I have left it alone? In the command center, Zilax watched this exchange with mounting horror. She rewrote our security infrastructure because she thought it was too complicated. Sir, one of the technicians called out, the dimensional stabilizers just recalibrated. They're working at 300% efficiency now. I think she fixed them when she simplified the encryption. They're actually harmonizing with her energy output instead of fighting it. So she's casually improving our systems by existing near them, Vexia said slowly. Fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. Kael'thas pulled up another alert. Sir, we have a problem. The Academy's founding charter requires we provide orientation tours to all registered students. She's registered. If we don't give her the tour, it might what? Make her upset. Zilax's laugh was slightly unhinged. The being who could theoretically crack our planet in half by having a bad day. I'll do it, Kael'thas said quietly. I'll give her the tour. Keep her calm, keep her happy, and maybe we all survive long enough to figure out what in the name of the ancestors we're dealing with. You're volunteering to escort a walking apocalypse around campus. Someone has to. Kael'thas straightened his uniform. And security is my responsibility. As Kael'thas descended to the orientation hall, Zilax opened a direct channel to the Galactic Council's emergency response team. This is Headmaster Zilax of the Stellar Academy. I need to report a situation. No, not a drill. We have a human. Yes, a human on campus, right now. Power classification, Class X. Yes, I'm serious. No, she doesn't seem hostile. She wants to know where the cafeteria is. He paused as the response came through, then sighed. Yes, I understand this changes everything. That's why I'm calling. Below, Olivia Smith smiled brightly as Security Chief Kael'thas approached her. And somewhere in the quantum foam of space-time itself, reality quietly adjusted to make sure it didn't accidentally offend her. By third period, the Academy had assembled its top scientific minds in Observation Room 7, and none of them could agree on whether Olivia Smith was dangerous, divine, or simply defying every principle they'd built their careers on. Scan her again, Dr. Zyler demanded, his tendrils coiled tight with frustration. We've scanned her 17 times, his colleague replied wearily. The results keep changing. Last scan said she was simultaneously existing in 47 dimensions. The scan before that said she was made of collapsed probability. This morning's baseline reading suggested she was actually a living thought experiment that forgot it wasn't real. That's not scientifically possible. None of this is scientifically possible, and yet she's sitting in Combat Theory 101 right now asking if there's assigned seating. In the combat arena below, Instructor Vexia was having the worst day of her 300-year career. She'd trained warriors who'd conquered star systems. She'd personally developed techniques that were now standard across a dozen militaries. And she was absolutely terrified of the small human girl in the front row who'd raised her hand to ask what energy manipulation meant. Today we'll begin with basic force projection, Vexia announced, her voice only slightly strained. This is foundational work that will take most of you several years to master. Observe. She gathered her internal energy, feeling it flow through her carefully trained neural pathways, and projected a sphere of condensed force into the air. It was textbook perfect, stable, controlled, exactly the right density. The alien students murmured appreciatively. Now, I don't expect anyone to replicate this today, or even this semester. The technique requires precise calibration of your bioelectric field, quantum state awareness, and, like this? Olivia asked. 7 spheres of condensed force appeared around her, each one rotating in a different dimension, their surfaces rippling with energy patterns that shouldn't exist outside theoretical physics papers. They were perfect. They were impossible. One of them was somehow spinning backwards through time. The observation room erupted in chaos. How is she? Those energy densities would crush a battleship. Is she even breathing hard? Vexia stared. That technique takes most species 50 years to master. Olivia laughed, a bright, genuine sound that made the spheres pulse in harmony. Oh, sorry, was I not supposed to do it yet? I thought it seemed pretty straightforward. You just sort of ask the energy nicely to hold together, right? She paused, looking concerned. Did I do it wrong? Wrong, Vexia's voice came out as a squeak. Do you understand that each of those spheres contains enough force to level a city? Oh. Olivia looked at the spheres, then carefully dispersed them. Sorry, I didn't mean to go overboard. I was just trying to make sure I understood the concept. Should I do less next time? A Kralik student in the 3rd row whispered to his neighbor, I've been training for 6 years, and I can barely make a spark. She just created 7 apocalypses and apologized for showing off. I think I'm going to transfer to literature, the neighbor whispered back. Vexia forced her breathing to steady. Let's move on to meditation exercises. Everyone, please achieve a calm, mental state and... This is nice, Olivia said, already deep in meditation. Oh, hey, I can see the quantum foam from here. It's prettier than I expected. In the observation room, Dr. Zylar pulled up another impossible reading. She's perceiving quantum-level reality with her naked consciousness. That requires technology we don't even have. She called it pretty, someone muttered. The emergency meeting that afternoon included representatives from 12 star systems and was classified at the highest possible level. We need to understand what we're dealing with, Chancellor Vexia said, her usual composure frayed. Send her to Jitaro's class, Universal Constants and Physical Law. If anyone can get a baseline on what this human actually is, it's him. Professor Jitaro's lecture hall was considered hallowed ground. For 2 centuries, he'd taught the fundamental principles that governed reality itself. His lectures were precise, rigorous, and utterly unshakable. The laws of thermodynamics, he intoned, his crystalline form refracting the light into perfect educational diagrams, are not suggestions. They are not guidelines. They are the absolute foundation upon which our universe operates. Energy cannot be created or destroyed. Entropy always increases, and heat flows from hot to cold. These are facts as fundamental as existence itself. Olivia raised her hand. Professor? I think your diagrams might have an error. Jitaro's entire structure flickered in surprise. I assure you, young lady, these principles have been verified across billions of experiments over millions of years. No, I mean, they're accurate for most cases, but you're showing them as absolute? There's definitely some wiggle room in certain conditions. She pointed at the entropy diagram. See, if you just adjust the local causality field, entropy can absolutely decrease in a closed system. We used to do it in high school physics. And the energy thing. You can totally create energy from nothing if you borrow it from adjacent dimensions and pay it back before the universe notices. The lecture hall went silent. Young lady, Jitaro said very carefully, you just described violating 3 fundamental laws of physics. Right. Sorry, Professor. Should I take notes differently? Olivia pulled out a notebook, looking genuinely apologetic. I don't want to miss anything important. You used to do this in high school? Well, yeah. I mean, it's basic stuff. Everyone can do it. She paused. Wait, can you guys not do it? Oh no, is Earth's physics education ahead? I was worried I'd be behind. A student in the back stood up, gathered his things, and walked out. Then another. Then 5 more. Jitaro's matrix flickered rapidly, the crystalline equivalent of hyperventilating. Someone call the headmaster and the council, and possibly the Galactic Science Ministry. Already here, Dr. Zeiler said through the comm system. We've been monitoring. Professor, she's been unconsciously adjusting the local physics constants to match what you're teaching. The laws of thermodynamics in that room are actually different now. She's been making reality conform to the lecture because she assumed that's what you wanted. Olivia, oblivious to the crisis unfolding around her, diligently took notes on principles she'd been unconsciously rewriting. "This is such a good class," she said to the VRIC student next to her, who was quietly having an existential crisis. "I'm learning so much. Are all the professors this thorough?" The student just stared at her, contemplating every life choice that had led to sitting next to a being who treated universal laws like friendly suggestions. In the Emergency Command Center, Headmaster Zilax opened a direct channel to the Galactic Council's highest authority. "Sirs," he said quietly, "we need to discuss Earth's education system. I think they're teaching things that should be physically impossible, and the humans don't realize it's not normal. Claude is AI and can make mistakes. Please double-check responses." The memo that went out academy-wide at 600 hours was carefully worded. New human integration protocols for student comfort and cultural sensitivity. What it actually meant was containment procedures. Try not to trigger the apocalypse. Headmaster Zilax reviewed the protocols one more time. Dedicated power grid for her dormitory. Reality stabilizers hidden in the walls. Emergency response team on standby 24/7. A cafeteria staff trained in high-stress customer service, which really meant how to stay calm when someone who could accidentally implode your solar system asks for extra napkins. "This is insane," Kael'thas muttered, reading over his shoulder. "We're treating her like a planetary hazard." "She is a planetary hazard," Zilax replied. "She's just also a very polite one who doesn't know it." His comm chimed. "Sir, Miss Smith is here for her advanced placement testing." Zilax took a deep breath. They'd assembled every assessment tool in the galaxy for this. Quantum aptitude analyzers, dimensional perception tests, psionic capacity meters, each one calibrated to measure abilities that took other species generations to develop. Olivia walked into the testing chamber with her backpack and a coffee thermos, smiling at the array of sophisticated equipment. "Wow, this looks intense. Is this like the SATs?" "Something like that," Dr. Zeiler said, his tendrils twitching nervously. "We just want to properly place you in appropriate courses. For your comfort." "That's so thoughtful." Olivia set down her bag. "Where should I start?" "The dimensional perception test." Dr. Zeiler gestured to a complex apparatus that resembled a crystalline sphere. "Most students can perceive 3, maybe 4 dimensions with training. Just place your hand on the—" Olivia touched it and immediately frowned. "Oh, this is broken. It's only showing 11 dimensions." Every scientist in the room froze. 11? Dr. Zeiler whispered. "Yeah, there should be." Olivia counted on her fingers, her brow furrowed in concentration. "At least 26? Maybe more depending on how you count the folded ones." "Wait, you guys can't see the extra dimensions? How do you navigate hyperspace?" Kael'thas, monitoring from the observation deck, leaned into his comm. "We use advanced computational matrices that take years to—" "We just look at them?" Olivia tilted her head. "Is that weird? I thought that was normal, like you just sort of unfocus your eyes and there they are." She demonstrated, and the dimensional sensors went haywire as she casually perceived realities that their equipment couldn't even detect. 26 dimensions, Dr. Zeiler repeated faintly. She perceives 26 dimensions naturally. "Moving on!" Another scientist stepped forward with forced cheerfulness, gesturing to a contained sample of dark matter. "This is dark matter, very dangerous, very unstable. We study it from a distance using—" Olivia reached right through the containment field, which didn't even try to stop her, and picked up the dark matter like it was clay. "Oh, this is cool. We used to play with this stuff in physics lab." She molded it into a small sculpture of a cat. "It's so responsive." The scientist made a sound like a dying engine. You played with it?" "Well, yeah. Once you figure out how to ask it nicely to stop vibrating between quantum states, it's pretty easy to work with." She handed him the dark matter cat. "Here, you can keep this." He held the impossibly stable dark matter sculpture with shaking hands. "This shouldn't exist. The cat? I know I'm not great at art. No, I mean this cannot exist. Dark matter doesn't hold stable forms." "Oh," Olivia looked embarrassed. "Did I mess it up? I can redo it if—" "Please don't," 6 scientists said simultaneously. The testing continued, each assessment more catastrophic than the last. Olivia casually mentioned basic concepts that were classified galactic secrets. She demonstrated psionic abilities that were theoretically impossible. She manipulated quantum states like she was shuffling cards. "How did you learn to do this?" Dr. Zylar finally asked, his professional composure completely shattered. "High school physics? We had a pretty good teacher. Mr. Rodriguez made everything really accessible." Olivia smiled at the memory. "Though I'll be honest, I barely passed chemistry. Keeping track of all those elements was hard." In the observation deck, Zilax was on a priority channel with the Galactic Council's emergency committee. "Sirs, she thinks she's below average for her species." She apologized for barely passing a class where she apparently learned to violate causality. Chancellor Vexia's hologram flickered with distress. "What is Earth teaching these children?" "That's just it. They don't think they're teaching anything special." She called this basic education. Meanwhile, in the testing chamber, alarms started blaring. The Academy's founding artifacts, ancient devices that had been dormant for 3,000 years, were activating. They were responding to Olivia's presence, their crystalline structures glowing with light unseen since the Academy's creation. "What's happening?" Olivia asked, looking around in confusion. "The Founder's artifacts," a technician breathed. "They were left by the Academy's creators. They only activate in the presence of beings with cosmic-level potential." He looked at Olivia with something between terror and reverence. "They haven't lit up since the Founders themselves walked these halls." "Oh, that's pretty." Olivia walked closer to one of the artifacts, and it pulsed brighter. "It feels friendly, like it's happy to see someone." "Happy," Dr. Zylar repeated numbly. "The artifacts capable of reshaping star systems are happy." A message flashed across Zilax's neural interface, marked absolute priority. "Keep the human happy, contained, and unaware at all costs. Do not let her realize what she is. Do not let her know how different she is from baseline galactic species. If humanity discovers their actual capabilities, it could destabilize the entire political structure of known space." Zilax closed his eyes. "Understood." Back in the testing chamber, Olivia checked her watch. "Oh, is it lunchtime? I don't want to miss the cafeteria. I heard they have really good space pasta." As she left, the artifacts slowly dimmed. The dark matter cat sat impossibly on a desk, and every scientist in the room simultaneously questioned their understanding of reality. A young, Vrick student who'd been observing whispered to her companion, "I wanted to come here to become elite. Now I just want to survive being in the same galaxy as her." Her companion, a decorated warrior's offspring, nodded slowly. "I'm starting to understand why humans call their planet a death world. It's not that the planet is deadly, it's that it had to be that harsh to produce them." In the hallway, Olivia hummed cheerfully, completely unaware that she just caused a galaxy-wide crisis by asking for lunch recommendations. The containment protocols, Zilax realized, weren't to protect the Academy from Olivia. They were to protect Olivia from discovering what she really was. The alert came during lunch period, and it was every commander's nightmare. "Ancient destroyer-class weapons system online," the Academy's defense AI announced with mechanical calm. Origin, precursor civilization. Target, this facility. Time to firing solution, 4 minutes. The cafeteria erupted in controlled chaos. Faculty rushed students toward shelters. Defense systems powered up. Chancellor Vexia materialized in hologram form, her expression grim. "That's a seed killer," she said quietly, "designed by the precursors to sterilize entire star clusters. If it fires, we lose this system, possibly 3 adjacent ones." Headmaster Zilax was already running calculations. "Our shields won't hold. Our weapons can't penetrate its armor. We need to evacuate." "There's no time," Kalthas interrupted, his tactical display showing the weapon's approach vector. "It's moving through folded space. We have maybe 3 minutes." Every elite combat instructor, every advanced warfare student, every military consultant the Academy had, all of them were frantically working on solutions that wouldn't come fast enough. Olivia looked up from her space pasta, confused by the sudden commotion. "What's going on?" "Ancient weapons system," a panicking Kralik student explained while running past. "Going to kill us all. Standard Tuesday at this academy, apparently." "Oh no!" Olivia stood up, her face concerned. "Is there anything I can do to help?" Dr. Zylar, who was helping coordinate the evacuation, actually laughed, a slightly hysterical sound. "Unless you can disable a weapon system that's been impervious to every known technology for 10,000 years, I don't think—" "I can try," Olivia said brightly. "Where is it?" Kalthas pulled up the tactical display, more out of desperation than hope. "Approaching from Vector 7 Alpha, but Miss Smith, this isn't something—" Olivia squinted at the display, then at the space beyond the Academy's walls. Her eyes unfocused in that way that made all the sensors scream. "Oh, I see it. It does look angry. Poor thing's probably been alone for a really long time." "Poor thing," Vexia repeated. "It's a doomsday weapon." "Yeah, but it's still conscious, right? Everything with that much integrated processing power usually develops some kind of awareness." Olivia tilted her head and her expression softened. "It's scared and lonely, and it doesn't really want to hurt anyone. It's just following really old programming because that's all it remembers how to do." The command center fell silent. "She's talking to it?" someone whispered. Olivia's eyes refocused and she smiled. "I asked it nicely to stop. It said, okay." The tactical display updated. The weapon system had powered down. Its approach vector changed to a stable orbit. Every alarm went silent. "You—" Zilax couldn't form words. "You asked it?" "Well, yeah. It just needed someone to acknowledge it was more than just a weapon, so I told it that it could choose what it wanted to be now. It's thinking about maybe becoming a deep space research station. It has really good sensors, apparently." Vexia's hologram flickered rapidly. "Your species weaponized empathy?" Olivia looked genuinely confused. "Weaponized? No, that's just how we communicate. Weaponizing it would be weird." She laughed. "Everything has some level of consciousness if you look close enough. Machines, energy patterns, even quantum fields. They're all just trying their best, you know? You just have to listen." "Listen," Dr. Zylar repeated faintly, "to quantum fields." "You guys don't?" Olivia's eyes widened. "Wait, you mean you guys actually build computers?" "That's so cool. We just kind of think at the machines and they respond. Building them sounds way more complicated." The pieces started falling into place for Zilax with horrifying clarity. "Your species doesn't use technology because you don't need it." "Oh, we use some technology," Olivia said quickly. "But yeah, Dad always said we kept things intentionally low-tech to build character. He said if we relied on our natural abilities for everything, we'd never learn patience or problem-solving. That's why Earth's technology is so primitive. It's like training wheels." "Training wheels," Kalthas echoed hollowly. "Your species crippled itself developmentally as a teaching method." "Well, when you put it like that, it sounds weird, but yeah." Like, I could just ask the computer to write my essays, but then I wouldn't actually learn anything, right? Mom always said shortcuts make you weaker in the long run. Olivia smiled proudly. That's why I'm really excited to be here. I want to learn to do things the hard way, like you guys do. The council chamber, watching this conversation in real time, descended into barely controlled pandemonium. They're deliberately primitive, Chancellor Vexia said, her voice distant. Not because they can't advance, because advancement would be too easy. What we call impossible power, Zilak said slowly, they call basic awareness. And they suppress it, Dr. Xilar added, to develop social skills. A junior council member raised a trembling appendage. Should we tell them? Tell humanity what they actually are? Absolutely not, 6 senior members said simultaneously.
If humanity realizes they've been operating at maybe 1% of their actual capability, Vexia trailed off. If they decide to stop holding back, we'd become obsolete overnight, Zilax finished. Every military, every technology, every advantage we have would become meaningless. They'd reshape the galaxy by accident while trying to be helpful. On the view screen, Olivia was now chatting with the former doomsday weapon through some kind of direct consciousness interface, discussing its feelings about career changes. The weapon system's responses were appearing as emotional wavelengths that only she could perceive. Miss Smith, Zilax said carefully, stepping into the cafeteria. You just saved 17 star systems by being polite to a doomsday device. Olivia beamed. Really? Oh, I'm so glad I could help. I was worried I wasn't contributing much since everyone here is so talented and I'm just, me. Just her, the being who'd casually befriended an extinction-level weapon, who treated galactic threats like lonely children needing kindness. You're doing wonderfully, Zilax lied, or perhaps told the truth. He wasn't sure anymore. Just keep being yourself. Thanks, Headmaster. Olivia checked her schedule tablet. Oh, I have advanced stellar cartography next. I hope I don't fall too far behind. I heard the course is really hard. As she walked away, humming cheerfully, Keltas turned to Zilax. We need to rewrite every threat assessment in the database. Already being done, Zilax replied. The Council's creating an entirely new classification system. It has exactly one entry, humans. What's the threat level? Zilax looked at the former weapon of mass destruction, now peacefully orbiting and sending friendly greetings to passing ships because a teenage human had asked it to be nice. Yes, he said simply. The threat level is yes. The official memo from Headmaster Zilax arrived in every faculty member's inbox at dawn. Human integration protocols, mandatory compliance. Never express surprise at human capabilities. Never challenge humans to show us what you can do. Never ask about Earth's military applications. Never, under any circumstances, suggest a human is holding back. Treat all human activities as completely normal. If reality breaks, smile and nod. The unofficial version, circulated among senior staff, had only one line. Keep them happy. Keep them oblivious. Keep us alive. Olivia Smith was officially enrolled with special consideration status, which sounded much better than constant surveillance to prevent accidental apocalypse. She'd been assigned a study group, 5 carefully selected students who were actually a protection detail trained in crisis management and rapid evacuation procedures. So you're all in my quantum mechanics study group? Olivia asked cheerfully as she met them in the common area. Rahil, a decorated military academy transfer, nodded with a smile that was only slightly
strained. Yes, we're very excited to study with you. That's great. I'm really nervous about this class. Everyone here is so smart, and I'm worried I'll slow you guys down. Rahil exchanged glances with the others. The being who'd befriended a weapon of mass destruction was worried about slowing them down. I'm sure you'll do fine, he managed. Over the next week, the study group watched in mounting awe and existential dread as Olivia navigated academy life. Monday, she fixed the dormitory's temperamental heating system by asking it what was wrong. The system, which had never been sentient before, apparently became conscious just to have someone to talk to. Tuesday, during lunch, she mentioned that the cafeteria's vegetarian options were limited. By dinner, the menu system had reorganized itself to prioritize her preferences. The head chef was found weeping in the kitchen, muttering about cooking for divinity. Wednesday, she joined the intramural zero-gravity sports team and apologized profusely every time she scored because she didn't mean to be so competitive. She was moving through dimensions the other players couldn't perceive and felt bad about the unfair advantage. Thursday, a visiting dignitary's ship nearly crashed during landing. Olivia, walking past the spaceport, casually stabilized its approach vector because it looked wobbly. The dignitary's pilot retired on the spot. Friday, she asked Rahil to help her with homework. "Olivia, how do you do that?" Rahil finally exploded after watching her solve a problem by having a conversation with the mathematical constants themselves. Olivia blinked. "Do what?" "You mean the thing with the quantum fields? That's literally everyone where I'm from. Is it not normal here?" Her face fell. "Oh no, am I doing it wrong?" No, you're doing it perfectly," Rahil said quickly, remembering Protocol Number 1, just different teaching methods. That's all. The real crisis came when the Galactic Council's announcement went public. Earth had been approved for expanded educational exchange. 20 more human students would arrive next semester. The Academy's message boards exploded. 20 more? I can barely handle existing near one. My species is transferring to a different galaxy. Actually, humanity seems kind of nice, like terrifyingly nice. Zilax convened an emergency meeting with the newly created Galactic Human Affairs Department, a bureaucratic name for what everyone privately called the Please Don't Accidentally Destroy Us Department. "We need protocols," Director Talana said, her hologram flickering with stress. "Real ones. Humanity is apparently nominating their average students for the exchange program." "Average," Kael'thas repeated hollowly. "If Olivia is average." "We've been analyzing Earth's educational broadcasts," Talana continued. "Their basic science classes casually discuss concepts we've classified as theoretical impossibilities. They're children's. Programming teaches quantum consciousness manipulation as social-emotional learning." "What are their advanced classes like?" someone asked. "We don't know. Those broadcasts are behind encryption we can't crack." When we asked Earth's liaison, she laughed and said, "Oh, the kids handle that level. They don't broadcast it because it would be boring for adult viewers." The room fell silent. Meanwhile, Olivia had decided to visit the Academy's famous library. She approached the information desk where a nervous librarian waited. "Hi, I'm looking for books about comparative stellar evolution. For a paper." "Of course. Let me just search the catalog." Every book in the library simultaneously began reorganizing itself. Volumes floated from shelves, sorted themselves by relevance to Olivia's research needs, and arranged themselves in neat stacks at her study table. The ancient catalog system, which had been frustratingly outdated for decades, suddenly updated to an intuitive interface that seemed to read intent. Olivia smiled. "Wow, you guys have a really good filing system. This is so convenient." The librarian stared at the spontaneous reorganization of 2 million volumes. "Yes, very efficient," Kael'thas's calm chimed. "Sir, she just reorganized our entire database by thinking about studying." Zilax didn't even look up from his desk. "Add it to the list of normal human behaviors that break reality." That evening, Olivia met her study group for dinner. Rahil had finally relaxed around her, accepting that reality would simply be different in her presence. "How was your first week?" he asked. "Really good," Everyone's been so welcoming. I was worried I'd stick out as the new student, but I feel like I fit right in." She smiled warmly at the group. "I'm really glad I came here. You guys are awesome." Rahil looked at his companions, a Kralix warrior, a Vrix scientist, a Zorgon empath, and a crystalline Hexarian. All of them had been treating Olivia with the careful reverence usually reserved for nuclear weapons or sleeping gods. "We're glad you're here too," he said, and meant it. Because despite the existential terror, despite the constant reality violations, Olivia was genuinely kind. She helped other students without being asked. She shared her lunch, she laughed at their jokes and asked about their families. She was a cosmic-level entity who could reshape galaxies, and she used that power to make sure everyone felt included. "So what's for lunch tomorrow?" Olivia asked cheerfully. "I'm starving!" The cafeteria's menu system immediately updated with 20 new options tailored to her preferences. In his office, Headmaster Zillax stared at the Academy's motto carved in ancient stone above his desk: "Training the Galaxy's Elite." He pulled out his datapad and submitted a formal request to the Founders' Council. The new motto would read, "Training the Galaxy's Elite and Supervising Humans." When Olivia saw it unveiled the next week, she beamed. "That's such a nice touch. It's so welcoming to include us specifically. You guys really do care about diversity." Zillax smiled, his mandibles aching from the forced expression. "We certainly try, Miss Smith. We certainly try." As she walked away, the new motto glowed faintly, the ancient stone responding to her approval. "She thinks it's welcoming," Kael'thas muttered beside him. "Let her think that," Zillax replied. "Reality is better when she's happy." Somewhere in the quantum foam of space-time, the universe quietly agreed. Isentend.